For those of you who only know me through my music, let me properly introduce myself. I'm Jezzie Bonez. And yeah, the dark aesthetic, the bones, the villain energy, that's not just a look, that's who I am. I've always been drawn to horror, to the things that make people uncomfortable, to the things that live in the dark. And there is one franchise that shaped the way I see horror more than anything else: Resident Evil. I've been with this series for a long time, and I've never talked about it publicly before. But I feel like now is the right time, because I want to explain to you why I believe Resident Evil is the greatest zombie franchise in gaming history. Not one of the greatest. The greatest. And by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why I feel that way.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
First, the zombies themselves. Most games give you a zombie and say, "Here you go. It's dead. It walks slow. Shoot it in the head. That's it." Resident Evil said, "No. We're going to explain exactly why this thing exists." The T-virus. The progenitor virus. Umbrella Corporation. They built an entire world around why these things are walking around trying to eat you. It's not just a zombie. It's a biological weapon with a paper trail. There are documents. There are lab reports. There is a full corporate conspiracy behind every single creature you fight in these games. That level of depth is what separates Resident Evil from everything else. And it doesn't stop at zombies. That's the thing people don't realize when they first get into these games. The zombie is the starting point. The T-virus zombie leads to the Crimson Head, which leads to the Licker. The dogs, the Cerberus, are Dobermans that Umbrella specifically chose because they were trainable military dogs. The spiders, the hunters. Every creature in this franchise has a reason for existing. None of it is random. None of it is just thrown in for a scare. Every single bioorganic weapon has a backstory and a purpose. And the way they deliver that information is what makes it stick. A lot of these details aren't handed to you in cutscenes. They're in files, documents, researcher notes scattered around the game world. And they're not written like encyclopedia entries. They're written like real people, documenting real things. You feel the fear in the handwriting. You feel the desperation in the logs. You're reading someone's last words before whatever they were studying got out. The Regenerador is a perfect example. In Resident Evil 4, you find a researcher's notes about this thing before you ever see it. The file describes a BOW that can regenerate any lost limb almost instantly. Yup. This big-bodied bitch can regenerate in real time. It tells you that conventional weapons are practically useless against it. It tells you the only way to kill it is to destroy the parasites inside its body, and you need a specific thermal scope just to see them. By the time you actually encounter one, that slow, heavy breathing coming from around the corner, you already know exactly what you're dealing with, and it terrifies you even more because of it. That's the power of how Resident Evil handles its lore. The files don't just inform you. They prepare you to be afraid.
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Hope this is not Chris's blood.
And then there's the story. This is where Resident Evil really separates itself. The Spencer Mansion, the Arklay Mountains, Raccoon City. These aren't just settings, they're crime scenes. Everything that happened in these games can be traced back to real decisions made by real characters. Oswell Spencer founding Umbrella, James Marcus developing the original virus, William Birkin discovering the G virus through Lisa Trevor, a girl whose family was destroyed by the very mansion her father built. That story alone is one of the most tragic things I've ever experienced in a video game. And Raccoon City, the fall of that city hits different when you understand how it happened. It wasn't a random outbreak. It was one man's desperation to hold on to his work. Birkin getting shot by Umbrella's own soldiers, injecting himself with the G virus, the T-virus samples breaking in the sewers, rats spreading it through the water supply. 100,000 people lost. And it all started because of corporate greed and one scientist who couldn't let go. That's not just a zombie game. That's a horror story about one company wanting to evolve the human race. But in the end, it just caused a domino effect of people and corporations playing God and profiting off of it for their own gain, only to be destroyed by it in the end and causing mass suffering and fear. The gameplay itself changed gaming. Fixed camera angles in the original games created tension that no other game could replicate at the time, or tried to emulate down the line, with varying results. You couldn't see what was around the corner. Your ammo was limited. Every decision mattered. Do I use this herb now or save it? Do I burn this zombie or risk a crimson head later? That resource management, that constant pressure of not having enough, is what makes survival horror work. And Resident Evil invented that. Then they reinvented themselves. Resident Evil 4 changed the entire genre. Over-the-shoulder camera, action horror. It influenced every third-person shooter that came after it. Then RE7 went first-person and brought the series back to pure horror. And RE2 Remake proved you could take a classic and make it feel completely modern without losing what made it special.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend this franchise is perfect. It's not. And anyone who has been with this series long enough knows exactly what I'm talking about. There was a period where Resident Evil lost its way. RE6 went full action. Explosions, car chases, set pieces that felt like they belonged in a completely different franchise. The survival horror was gone. The tension was gone. It felt like they were chasing trends instead of being the standard everyone else chased. And the spin-offs, some of them were rough. Umbrella Corps was a game that should have never left the drawing board. It had nothing to do with what made Resident Evil special. It was like watching someone you respect make a decision you can't defend. Here's a fun fact. With RE Resistance, I tried playing it when it came out and it refused to even let me past the starting screen. So that was a fun time. But here's the thing, and this is what separates a great franchise from a good one. They recognized it. They went back to their roots. RE7 brought back the fear. The RE2 remake proved they still understood what made the originals legendary. And now, with where the series is heading, Resident Evil is stronger than it has ever been. That takes humility. That takes a willingness to admit you lost the path and then actually find it again. Not every franchise can do that. Most don't even try.
Stupid man thing! You won't live long, even if you run!
No other franchise has reinvented itself that many times and still stayed relevant for almost 30 years. That's not luck. That's a foundation built on lore, characters, and world building that most games never even attempt. And the horror, the actual fear these games make you feel, is earned. It's not cheap jump scares. It's the dread of hearing footsteps and not knowing what's making them. It's opening a door and not knowing if a huge gray-skinned tyrant is ready to put belt to ass on you. It's knowing you have 3 bullets left and there are 5 enemies between you and the save room. That tension is what horror should be. And Resident Evil understood that from day one. So yeah, when people ask me what the greatest zombie franchise in gaming is, there's only one answer. It's not even close. Resident Evil built the house that every other zombie game lives in, and almost 30 years later, nobody has come close to touching it.
Oh, Alfred, you cross-dressing freak!
With that, I hope you all enjoyed my little Glazed session for the series. It's a game that was my introduction into survival horror games and opened up a whole new world to me. Resident Evil is near and dear to my heart, and seeing how it has changed and adapted to the times is very impressive. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. It takes less than 2 seconds to do so, and it lets YouTube and myself know that you vibe with this content. I also make music here on the channel, so if you want something new for your playlist, then check them out. Thank you all for watching, and remember, los huesos nunca mienten, amor, and neither do I.
Oh, Jill, this house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!